Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to a video, and today I'll be doing a little review video on these Tattu R line, and these are the 1300 milliamp hour 95C version from Tattu. Obviously, they reached out and sent these to me, and I was looking for a new battery because I had been previously flying these Turnigy graphene here. Let's see, I had 5, had these for quite a long time here, and these are the graphene 1365C version from Turnigy and Hobby King. So, you know, they're pretty old, and basically I was just looking for a new battery, so they sent these in to try. And right off the bat, if we take a look at the size, well, first of all, the cables come out the other way, but let me get one here. The balance lead that it comes with is quite a bit shorter than the Turnigy's, as well as the main input lead, so that could be good or could be bad. It'll shave a little bit of weight. However, I found on some of my quads, like this beast here, I had a little bit of trouble getting the balance or the main lead to go to the connector, so that could be an issue. And overall size, they are just a little bit smaller than the Turnigy there. However, these have the plates in them for extra protection. If we take a look at the weight, get the scale here. I know you won't be able to see it on camera most likely. Oh, if I hold my hand there, you can. Right there. These are 173 grams. Most of them are 177, I believe. That one's 177 there. And these R lines are about 165, so they are about 10 grams lighter. However, that may be, I'm not sure if that's due to overall cell capacity or because these are said to have little plates in between them for extra durability, so that could be where it's from, as well as the extra length on the wires here. Now, the R lines also do come with a little protective cover that you can clamp on the balance wires, so you don't, that'll protect them. But I found that because when I plug in my batteries, I usually put the lead in between the two power wires like that to keep it out of the props. I found that it doesn't let it with that little big connector, so I just kept those off. So I'll do a real quick line of sight and FPV test. Obviously, I've flown these a bunch, but I'll do a live one for you here. And once again, the quad I'll be using is the Beast X with the Brother Hobby Tornado T2 motors, the 2206 2300 kV, Gemfan Flash 5152 props, DYS XSD 20 amp ESCs, X-Racer V 3.1 flight controller in there, and I'll be using a GoPro Session 5 and my Tyrannus and Quantum goggles. So let's get to that. Okay, got the R line on the Beast X all ready to go for some line of sight here. So just take it up. So right off the bat, when I first flew these, I just thought immediately that they had more punch and power than my Turnigy graphenes that I was used to. They just feel more responsive. And it's the exact same quad, exact same props I was flying before. Just seems to get up and move better. And now one thing that I'm not sure about, if it's true or not, is my graphenes are probably 5 months old now. So what's that? I don't know, 50 cycles probably on each of them. Maybe not that many, I'm not sure. I never marked them, which I regret doing now. But I'm not sure if that's just these batteries being new and the graphenes being old. But these definitely have more pop to them. And they're a little bit lighter. That probably doesn't make a difference, but you know, it's nice. Let's do some full throttle and just see how they hold. Here comes full throttle. Full throttle. I don't know, was that like 10 seconds full throttle? And I didn't really hear the motors slacking down too much. Alright, I think that was good enough for just a quick line of sight flight. I don't want to make this video too long here, but it definitely does have more in it. That was actually a 2 minutes flight there, but I'm getting the same exact flight times on my Turnigy graphene as these, and just something to look at. Oops. Oh, look at that. No C-clip. Just to prove that. Alright, let's move on to the FPV. Okay, I got a fresh R line on the beast here, so let's do some FPV. I've got the camera at about 50 degrees here. Let's just do some flying around. Just seems like they're very punchy batteries. I know it's really hard to do a battery review. Truthfully, I mean, because you have to try and figure out what's hype and what's just your mind playing tricks on you, but they just feel a little bit more punchy and powerful. But once again, that could very well easily just be my graphenes are so much older than these. Let's do a full speed there, and then full speed back. And at the end of that, I could hear the motors kicking down just a little bit as the battery voltage was sagging. And unfortunately, I don't have an OSD to show the voltage. I just kind of do it by a timer. I've never used an OSD. But yeah, they just feel good. And this is a setup I've been flying for a little bit now. So I'm pretty used to the power it has. I guess I'll just fly a full battery here since it's just fun to fly. And I don't get that much time to fly normally. I'm so busy. That's cool.
1 minute.
But yeah, you can see and this is how I normally fly. So I've been definitely punishing these batteries here. And this is probably, I'm definitely not going to get the full 3 minutes. I'm flying like this, I normally do. If I put the camera tilt down, maybe. Alright, I guess that was good enough, so let's bring it in here.
30 seconds.
Oops. Alright, so we're back after that quick flight testing of the R-line. I believe it was this one. Yeah, I just flew this FPV. Or no, that was the line of sight. This was the FPV one. It's quite a bit warmer. It's warm, but it's honestly not hot at all, and nothing to be concerned of, I think, because batteries are going to perform a little bit better if they are a little bit warm. You don't want them to get burning hot, obviously, because that can damage the cells, but that's plenty fine, and that's just as warm, the same temperature that my graphenes get to, the Eternity ones, for that after a hard flight. And now I have been flying these for about 2 or 3 weeks. This battery has 5 cycles on it. This one has 8, although I just flew it, so it now has 9. I just have to mark it down. This one's still fully charged, and this one has 7 because I also flew that. Yeah, almost about 20 packs through altogether of these, so I have been flying them for a little bit, and I do have to say they seem like they do have a little bit more punch. But once again, I can't figure out if that's because these are just older, and I honestly have no idea how many cycles I have on these. Maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 20 to 50. It's a total guess because I never marked them down. But I do have 5 of them, so I fly them less often per battery, so it might be on the lower end of that number. So overall, for a recommendation, I'd have to say, I mean, these, I believe I got these for, I think they're about $28 now. However, the tattoos, depending on where you get them, sometimes they're about $30, but most of the times they're about $35, I believe, straight from their website. But that does include free shipping on these, and from Hobby King, most of you know Hobby King shipping is always quite expensive. If you get these, if you manage to get them from the US warehouse, however, never in stock, you can, I believe, get about $9 shipping, but if you order them from the international, it's going to be like $20 to $40, so that does bring the price up. So I think these are definitely, I would not recommend these as a beginner budget option, definitely, because if you're just starting or you just don't have enough money for them, you're not going to notice the power. I don't think it's worth it just to get that little bit of an extra edge. I'd probably say something like the China Hobby line. I personally have never flown them, but I know Kebab FPV has, and he recommends them quite highly for what they are. So I think that's a good beginner battery. And then something like the Eternity Graphene is a good medium high to advanced. And then if you really want to go nuts and you really need that extra bit of performance, maybe something like these Tattus, but I definitely wouldn't recommend them for something like more of an entry. And obviously I have been running them on these flashes here, the Gem Fan props, as well as the Emax Van, which isn't really out yet, and the DAL Cyclone 5050 video coming this soon. So not low amp draw props, so I've been really putting these through and they've held up just fine for me in terms of heat and power throughout the flight. And now one thing about the graphene batteries, whether you believe they're actual graphene or not, they sort of hold their voltage. If you looked at a scale, say this was full voltage up here, they kind of drop down real slow and then just plummet. The lipos, more of a standard lipo, will kind of go up and down as it sags, and it'll recover more, and then it'll slowly. So these give you more of a warning when you need to land, because you can really feel it dropping off. But these graphenes, 1 second you could be having a good power punch. This feels like 80% of your power, and then boom, they're just gone, and you can hardly even hover anymore. So you do have to be careful with these. So that's something that could be a little bit nicer with these. However, these normal lipos, if you are running a race where you are able to maintain full throttle or very high throttle the entire time, you probably will notice a sag on these more. But unless you're someone like Night Fury who's really good at racing and you can sustain that full throttle, I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that. So yeah, that was the end of the video. There will be a link down below to Tattu's website if you wish to check these out and see their specs, and if you wish to purchase them. Thanks again for sending them in. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I will see you in the next video.